All right, welcome. It is August 25th, 2025. It is exactly 7 o'clock p.m. and I'd like to call this meeting to order. If you would all join me facing the flag, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we got our heads in the game now. So the first thing we're going to do is go into executive session, and we will not be long. We'll be back shortly. All right. Sorry, I'm just looking for my motions because I'm not as organized as I thought I would be. Thank you. I move that the Select Board enter into executive session under MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, the town administrator, and to reconvene in open session thereafter. Chair noting that discussing these matters in open session would be detrimental to the town's bargaining position.
Second.
All right, we'll do a roll call vote. We'll start at the end. Sam?
Anderson, aye.
Priya?
Sundram, aye.
Wes?
Folks, aye.
Bob?
Stemple, aye.
And Hilberg, aye. All right, we'll be back in a few. Will you guys join me? back. Thank you for your patience. It's just a little before 7:20, and we'll just pick up where we left off. Okay, public input. Is there any residents that want to comment on non-agenda items, either on Zoom or in person?
Oh, and I'm just going to make one comment. As far as raising your hand, everybody knows how to raise your hand now. There is a new button down the bottom.
No, the raise hand is back.
Oh, that was back. Okay, never mind.
No, it was confusing. Yes, some of the links have the new buttons.
Yeah. And the other one was, I forget what it was called. Gestures, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was reactions.
Oh, maybe
It might have
it's
been gestures.
Yeah, whatever, but it was buried underneath there. But, okay, you do have raise your hand, so, because last week we had a problem with raising hands, but I don't see that's a problem now.
Okay. No public input. All right, old business, discussion and action, select board participation in planning board warrant articles for fall town meeting. So I know you all discussed this at our last meeting. Do you all want to kind of bring me up to speed in your thoughts on this? Or the discussion that you had?
Sam, Priya, want to start?
Yeah, I think, like, this and the MBTA, I think, are, should I even bring up in? Yeah, okay. So those two articles, right, I think have a direct impact in terms of, like, how the town operates. So, and even the moderator was on, and he said it'll be okay or appropriate for us to make a recommendation. I think we probably, at least, not so much from a zoning perspective, but overall how it'll impact
Right,
the operation.
the end results
Yeah,
of a yay
yeah.
or a nay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay,
that's just
anybody
my-
else? I mean, I understand you had some good discussion on it. Any alternate opinions that want to be shared right now?
Sorry, are we voting right now whether to support the
Whether we're going to
warrant
write
article?
yeah, whether we'll recommend or not recommend.
I'm not inclined to.
Okay, tell us more, or tell me more, since I
So
wasn't here.
this is a zoning article that the zoning board is bringing forward, and so they're the ones spending all this time in the, like in the public hearings, in their meetings, listening to the people deliberating, and that's not been like what this board is doing, and we are also not responsible. Well, I guess I know that it does have some impact in the large scheme of things. I'm very hesitant to make a recommendation on zoning articles, just because they are their own elected board, and they're elected to do the zoning, and we're elected to govern and administer, like, be the executive body.
Okay.
And so I just feel like it would be overstepping what I guess I view the purview of this board to be.
Okay.
And so if you guys do choose to vote, I would abstain and give that same reason of,
Sure.
I view this as.
So I want to be clear about what Wes is saying, and I need to clarify in my mind what it is we're voting on. Is there two separate votes, whether to weigh in and then what that weigh-in is, or
Yeah.
is it support, not support, take no position? How is that?
Sure.
How is that presented in the warrant?
All right, so this is perfect. All right, so this is a practice that we adopted that actually started the last time I was on the select board, and it's basically for the reasons that Wes just said.
Yeah.
Previously, the select board and the FinCom recommended, or voted not to recommend, every article on the warrant, including planning. And what happened is, in 2005, we were dealing with overrides, we were dealing with all these other things happening, and there were also a number of serious planning articles, and this is where I completely agree with Wes. The planning board spent, an inordinate amount of time with public hearings, they're their babies, okay? And what happened at that time is the select board said, you know what, we're gonna stop recommending elected board, because quite frankly, they're the experts, they're the ones managing it, so I'm gonna call it, I'm not gonna call it lazy, I'm gonna call it managing resources. So we just stopped doing it. We just made a decision that we weren't gonna recommend. Now, I feel that we should recommend this year, for Priya's reasons, is that we've got two zoning articles brought by the planning board that have significant effects on our operations. I have no desire to recommend or not recommend every planning board article, but in this case, we've got to figure out our zoning so that we can build a fire station, because yay or nay, I think we owe the public, information from leadership, meaning us, we lead operations. All right, this is really, really important, and this is how we feel about it, yay or nay. And then for MBTA, it's also a significant impact on operations. I think it's important to let people know the select board support this, because if we don't, it's going to impact, we'll be out of compliance with the state, and it'll impact funding resources, and, it'll impact our operations. So I'm skating between, what Priya and Wes were saying, is that I do believe we should, in this instance, provide recommendations. And with the override coming up, I think that we should plan to recommend or not recommend the school budget. We have stepped out of, they're an elected board, but again, significant operational effects, yay or nay with an override. So I just think that we've got an extraordinary year, and that's why I think it's important for people to hear our voices.
So so there's gonna be, we're gonna vote on three things. We're gonna either vote to recommend on one, and we're gonna vote to recommend or not recommend on two, and then on the school budget as well.
Well, that'll be, like I said, that's in the future, but it's just more, I don't want the planning board to think that we're stepping on their toes. It's more just, I think the community needs to know our thoughts,
So what are we voting on tonight?
whether we're going to write recommendations or not.
On what?
On what's right now, Article 1 and 3. So basically,
So those
are
are
we
two
going
separate,
to write
those are two
recommendations?
separate votes.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so what we're saying right now is is the select board going to write a recommendation for or against or both in the warrants for the two zoning articles that are coming before us in October?
I'm saying, I could imagine me saying, I'd like the select board to support Article 1, and I don't want the select board to weigh in at all on Article 2.
Yeah, you could.
This seems to me to be, if it's the
So Article 1,
prerogative
well,
of the
define
board.
which is which. Article 1 is MP, right now.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Oh,
matter.
okay,
Just,
okay.
one or the other.
Yeah.
It's two different votes.
Yeah.
If it's the prerogative of the select board to weigh in on the zoning article one way or the other, it seems to me take every single article on a case-by-case basis. And if it's been 20 years since the select board has done so, that's an interesting data point, but of course what you're saying is compelling as well. I just saying, I don't feel we need to take a vote on, should we start weighing in on planning articles?
No.
They're two separate issues. Like, you could imagine us saying, this has more impact on the town beyond zoning and this other one doesn't. So I think it's two separate motions and two separate votes. I have a separate question though, which is, does the planning board want our input? I'm interested in giving the planning board the best chance of success. Do they think having a select board recommendation is helpful or not?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't asked them, but, I like to think that if people see the finance committee, the select board, and the planning board all trying to move forward on something, that's gonna help the public understand our position. But no, we have not asked the planning board if they want our opinion or not.
Because, and then on a part B of that question, the residents, I believe, and I've heard, want to know how we feel on these two separate articles.
Sure.
So they're gonna say, well, is the select board, they said to me, is the select board gonna recommend or not recommend? And I've given the canned answer that in the past, we don't give our opinion on planning.
Well,
board.
we do.
But we have.
We can
It's-
do it.
Well,
We
we
can do it
have.
in any number of ways. We could all march up to the microphone on the town floor and
Individually,
give it one at a time. We
yeah.
could write it in the newsletter. We could take a vote in a board meeting. To me, it doesn't terribly matter
Right.
what the venue or the forum is. Like I said, I'm interested in giving them the best.
Okay, and that's
to
kind
success.
of, and I agree with you, it's kind of like if we go up individually onto the microphone at town meeting, and I say, yes, I recommend this, and then Wes goes, I recommend, and you go up and I recommend it, then they're gonna know that we're on, we go up there and say, I live on Kendall Road and I represent myself, I'm not a member, I'm not representing the select board, they're gonna go, yeah, but you're also on the select board, so they're gonna know exactly, the both positions, so, yeah.
I think it also, if we write a recommendation, it's that opportunity to explain why we're writing a recommendation. And it gives the public a different perspective. The planning board is looking at zoning. You know, they're not necessarily looking at operations. You know, let's use the fire station as an example. The planning board has designed, you know, and is moving forward with a certain direction. And what we would be doing is not saying yes or no in that direction, but why we need to resolve the problem, why it's important operationally to be able to build a fire station somewhere in town. So again, I'm trying to support the planning board and support the process, not in any way step on toes or take away from it. But to answer your question, no one has asked the planning board if they would like our opinion. But the public does.
I think what you're saying is,
What I'm
instead of a
saying-
general zoning, we just focus on just these 1 or 2 articles, right? Is
What
that
I'm saying is, I'm inclined to vote to support both articles.
Yeah,
Because I want to be deferential to the planning board, not because.
yeah.
Yes, correct.
Not necessarily because I feel so strongly about the impact on town finances or whatever other select board
Yeah.
jurisdiction it might touch. I do respect that they are the ones in the room and doing the work, and I think that deference is key.
I think, all right, I hear what you're saying. I think the difference is the word deference. We're not rubber stamping what the planning board is doing. We are explaining it in a way that the planning board doesn't. We're going to be explaining the impact to public safety, operations, and funding sources, whether it goes yay or nay.
Sure.
That's not the planning board's job to do. They're not going to explain, if you don't say yes to this, you don't get a fire station. That's not going to be how they're going to explain it. They're going to be saying, these are your options, which ones do you like? So it's coming at it from a different perspective. It's from that operations perspective of keeping our town running. So that's, to me, that's the gray area between being differential and supportive to the planning board and educating the public.
I'm with you.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I'm just kind of parsing out, I was processing what you're saying.
I agree with Wes, and I want to say I think that these are important to take on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
And not as a general. My point that I was making two weeks ago is that we don't need to take up a change to the board policy with respect to.
And
zoning.
I agree 100% with you, that we're not going to say.
Remember, it's not a policy, it's a practice.
You're right. We're not
That's
gonna-
a big difference.
No,
You're an
no,
attorney,
No,
come
you're
on.
right. No, you're right. We're not going to vote on the practice of we're recommending planning board articles. We're not going to vote on that.
Right.
We're only going to vote on these two, and I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah.
I agree.
As a matter of fact, the motion is actually specific to fall town meeting. That's it.
Yeah, so there you
It's
go.
not-
I can't imagine, I wouldn't want to take a position on anything having
No,
in spring.
me either.
That would be.
Right.
Yeah.
No, me either.
But I mean, I know that the draft motions here, it says participation in.
Is it,
So
yeah, we're
it's
either
two-
going to support
it's
or
two
not,
different
or take
votes.
no action.
It's a
Right.
vote to whether to take action.
Yep.
And and then it's a vote on what the action should be. And
Well, it
I
depends
feel
on.
that the first one is not a necessary motion to make if the vote for the second motion can be.
There's only one
Wes-
motion.
Wes called it abstain, but it could be I vote to not weigh in or something like that.
And that would be take no action on.
Option 3, yeah.
Right. So, okay, so, okay, any further discussion? Anything
I
from
have
the?
one thing.
Yeah, please.
There was one open question from last time. I think people understood that there isn't a policy or bylaw, but I was asked to verify that. So I have verified there is no bylaw or policy that the select board not voting on other elected boards, articles. So I just want to confirm that for you. There is no policy or bylaw on the books. And it seems that it's a practice that has been taken up.
Like I said, when we started the practice, it was literally because the select board and the FinCom were completely overwhelmed. It was like, oh, and honestly, that's where we're heading into this year. We're gonna be completely overwhelmed. Lots of work to do. Anything from the public? All right. I'm gonna move that the select board support the planning board's proposed warrant articles for the, no, we actually don't want this.
No.
No. I actually, all we want to do is that I move that the select board
Well,
vote.
what are the numbers? I've read it, but I don't remember which one's which.
All right, so we're on, all right, so we have to rewrite this. I didn't read this carefully enough before. What we are moving is that we are going to write a recommendation on that we're gonna vote and write a recommendation on the planning board's proposed warrant articles. We're not voting to support, we're not voting not to support, and we're not voting to take, we could vote to take no action on.
Christian, do we want to like finalize the article numbers before we take up a vote on this?
No, because there's only 2 planning board warrant
Is that
articles.
only 2?
So it doesn't, yeah,
Okay.
because, so it's super, I need some wordsmithing from people that know how to do this.
So I don't actually think
Isn't
you
it-
need a motion
yeah.
for this.
Oh, all right, can we just
Right.
decide that well, we do need to decide if we're
Well,
going
no, I
to,
mean, you don't need a motion for deciding whether or not you're gonna vote. If you choose to, normally when we go through the warrant articles, you would just say, we're passing over this, or then at that article time, you would just say, someone would make a motion to recommend this article or to not recommend.
Oh, I
this
hear what you're
article.
saying.
Yeah, because,
Okay, we
yeah,
could
it's
probably
right,
do
it's only a
that.
practice.
right, but I, okay, all right.
So I mean, we had the discussion and deliberation of the reasons of why or why we would not make a recommendation, but
Yeah,
at the time of the warrant article recommendations was when we would make the motion to
Exactly.
recommend or not.
Yeah,
all right,
exactly
good
right.
point. All right, great, then I don't have to figure out some wordsmithing, because otherwise we'd basically be voting to support the
to-
articles,
Yeah.
or not support the articles, we're not there yet. Okay, sorry about that, I should have read that more carefully. All righty, moving on, all right, the already drinking game is off and running. New business, the fall town meeting draft warrant. So for anyone who doesn't know, apparently I say already a lot, and it could be a drinking game, so, you know. Have a nice seltzer.
We have time for bingo?
All right, fall town meeting draft warrant. So, you have it, you have a copy of it.
Yep.
I want to throw out an idea. Some of the feedback that I've gotten is that town meeting just plain goes too late for people with children. People have to get up in the morning and work, seniors who don't like driving late at night, all of the above. So because Kelly secured the Regency for 2 nights, I would like to suggest that we break our warrant into 2 evenings, and that we do, that this is just my idea, that we do the governmental municipal use warrant article and the
No.
sense of the meeting motions on Tuesday. And we start, you know, right at the get-go. And then on Wednesday, and we go until 9 or 9:30. Like, basically, we say that is all we're doing, you know, we're gonna spend a couple of hours just doing this. And then on Wednesday at 7 o'clock, we pick up MBTA and then finish the housekeeping articles. So basically, maybe we end up with 2.5 hour meetings instead of 1 marathon. You know, and I have lots of, I mean, there's so many reasons. I personally don't think any good decision is made after 10 o'clock at night. People are tired, they're cranky. And we lost a lot of voters last time. We lost a lot of voices.
Yes.
Between 9 and 9:30.
Yes, I agree.
So what do y'all think?
Me personally, I like it, because right now, Article 1 is the MBTA, and I would like to see Article 1 for Tuesday night be the zoning regarding the
Public safety.
public services. That's how I would like that to be Article 1 taken up Tuesday night only.
Well, first, what do you all think about literally dividing it into 2 shorter meetings? I know
I like
it's 2
that.
nights
I like
out,
it. I like it.
but then we're not junk the next day. Because it still might be 2 nights, I don't know.
I don't think there's gonna be a lot of pushback on the MBTA one.
Right, exactly.
No,
No,
that's,
but I guess my feeling, Wes, is I'm thinking, okay, by 9 o'clock, we lose a lot of the audience, right? You know, so, which means we won't have a lot of input on MBTA
Well, I mean.
or the
I-
others.
I think that the MBTA is not gonna take very long. It's not inconveniencing any large group of voters. And I have not yet heard any objections to the proposed zoning.
So
I mean, has anybody?
Yeah, we actually have. There's been some feedback about the MBTA district is just rubber stamping the law, that we're not actually creating any additional housing, and that we're not really following the letter of the law. So I think you might be surprised that there's some discussion about it.
I would hate to, I think what Wes is saying is take them up in order of MBTA communities and then
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go like,
in one night, and I disagree, Wes. I think you risk spending an hour and a half on the first one, and then and then you're losing
Honestly,
people.
we have fought for
I would be
45 minutes over a
surprised.
filing cabinet. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have been there.
Yeah.
So the things that we think are gonna take 2 minutes, take 2 hours, and then the things that we take, are gonna take 5 hours, take 2 minutes. So I just, yeah, that's my point.
I think these two are definitely going to be important. Oh, go ahead.
How about in your opening, you know how you make all those motions at the very beginning of the meeting and you say we'll take no new articles after 10:30 at night? What do you say we'll take no new articles after 9 o'clock at night? And that'll automatically pretty much send it to the next night if you don't get to it. I mean, if municipal zoning finishes in an hour, then maybe you'll have time to, like, in the sense of the meeting finish, then maybe you'll have time to do the rest of it. I just think you could do it that way too if, you know,
But so,
I think you're gonna get more pushback, so I think that's not gonna be an issue. I think we'll be in 2 nights, but,
so you say take municipal use zoning first.
oh, I absolutely think you should take
That's what
municipal use
I
zoning
agree.
first.
I agree, yeah.
And that would also be the sense of the meeting vote.
And I
And
think
then-
that's actually gonna be a long conversation.
That might be, but
It
then there's
should be.
also, the planning board, I think, also has dimensional requirements for town center. So they've got 3 articles, not 2.
I don't think we'll engage in town center. Well, we'll decide that later. That's right. We'll
Okay,
decide
well,
that later.
you may not engage,
Something
but I'm
with
just
the
gonna say it's
stone
3
wall, too.
articles.
Right.
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 No, I mean select board. I was just going back to our previous conversation in my head. Yeah, to me, it's just, excuse me, the 2. Although the 25,000 square feet for public safety
Goes
buildings
along
is
with,
impactful.
yeah.
Okay, but only for town center. Okay, I hear what you're saying. I was thinking about that also, but what I also liked being able to do is to tell people we're picking up this article this night and we're starting the next night with that article, so people have a defined parameter on what to expect. So they can line up the babysitter for the night that they care about, or the ride share or mart or whatnot. So, all right. Any more thoughts?
No, I agree with you, that part, that way if people want to like specifically focus on, say, the public safety is more important for them, that they don't really care about the MBTA, they don't have to worry about that, vice versa too. Like, if people are not more focused on the public safety, but MBTA is more important, they now might, if we move that, if it's not the first article, right?
Yeah.
It could go either on the first night or on the second
Right,
night.
well-
Now, they are forced to attend both the nights, but if we keep it separate, I think they could pick and choose which night that they want to attend.
Right, and so Priya,
Yeah.
to your comment and to yours, if we say, if we say we want it to have, to be 2 nights, it doesn't matter which one is on the first night and which one is on the second night. It doesn't matter, because we're gonna allot the same amount of time on either night. I mean, if people are more concerned about the municipal use, and that's the second night, they're not gonna come the first night, they're gonna come the second night.
That is true, but at the same time, people want, this is the one that has elicited more response, right? So what
Yeah.
I'm saying, the public safety piece.
Right,
So they really probably would want that to be on day one, where they want to like address that. But what I'm saying is, for those, there might be a very small minority that might not care about this, but care about the MBTA. And for those people, we don't want to force them to come both nights.
but right, so I guess my question is,
Do the public safety on day one, which is the Tuesday, and then the MBTA on day 2.
but, okay, so my question is, what happens, worst case scenario, that we have the public safety on night 1, and we don't finish? And does that drag over to
Oh,
night
no,
2?
we finish it. We finish those articles in sense of the meeting.
Yeah.
So we could do both. We basically say we are addressing public safety buildings in the sense of the meeting on the first night. And hopefully because we're not saying we're ending at a certain time. Maybe we marry it. We say we're not gonna pick up anything new after 9 o'clock, but these are the 3 things we're hoping to address.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna get that all done. And then so no matter what, we are starting Wednesday night with MBTA. So it's possible that we're gonna be there till 10 or 11 anyway.
Anyway,
Right.
But I don't think so. I mean, typically after an hour of debate, somebody's gonna move the question.
Okay, because
you
I mean, in my own head, I'm flip-flopping back and forth, because first I wanted public safety on 1, but then if we tell you when it's gonna be on 2 separate nights, what difference does it make?
I think that we always get more momentum the first night of town meeting
Yeah.
than the second night of town meeting, and I think that's why is leaning into that typical town meeting energy. We always have half the people the second night.
But if,
And we don't want to risk
Yeah,
that.
I-
Even when we have important things happening, we have.
that's what I'm concerned
Well,
about.
no,
yeah.
but that's my point about the second night. Even on town meetings where we've had really important things coming up the second night, people often don't have the stamina to do the 2 nights in a row. So that's why I'm like, okay, as a select board, what is the absolute most important place where we need the most voices? And I would say it's the zoning for
Mhm. Yeah,
public
yeah,
safety.
public safety.
And MBTA is just as important, but this is where I do agree with Wes. There are some people who are gonna feel really strongly about it. I would say the majority of town feels very comfortable with the decision. So by putting it on the night that we traditionally get fewer participants, it just kind of makes sense to me.
So you're recommending, or you're suggesting public safety on night 1?
Public safety and the 2 cents of the meeting motions on night 1. So all we're gonna talk about is fire station on night 1,
I'm okay with it.
and then the rest of it is night 2.
I'm okay with it. And I still don't see a difference if we have 2 nights, but I'm okay with
Well,
having
it's basically, if we try to bang it through, we are there until 10:30 or later, because if, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if we try to get it all done in one night, and we're just.
No, I'm not
denying-
saying we're gonna get it all done in one, we're not gonna do all 4 articles, or
Well, there's-
all 3 articles.
Well, there's other stuff too, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, all right.
okay. All right, so so you're okay, everyone's okay with 2,
2
basically breaking it up into 2 nights?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wes?
Might think
2
that's
nights?
Sure.
All right, well, at the very least, we could be in bed by 10. All right, okay, so we'll do that, so we'll reorder the warrant. Do we have one more meeting before we go to print? Yeah, we're getting it all back, of course, I already know this, we're getting it all back, we're gonna be voting on the 8th,
Correct.
isn't that Monday the 8th?
Yes.
And everyone has to be done by the 9th. Again, thank you to the planning board, you guys worked really hard, you had a ton of public, I mean, one night there was over 80 parties, one night over 60. So I have been attending those Zooms, because I thought it was really important that I hear firsthand the discussion and firsthand what the public is saying. I'd recommend that everyone on the board, if you weren't on those public hearings, find the time to watch it, because I think it's really important that we're all up to date on all the sides. There's a lot of different sides, all shades of gray. Okay. All right, next, new business, acceptance of quit claim deed, 50 Taylor Farm Road. Mike, do you want to walk us through that one?
Sure, this is the one that went to town meeting, was approved, and the deed has been finished, it's gone through legal, and all it needs is an acceptance by the board, so all we need is a vote, and then the property is transferred to the town for its originally intended purpose.
Does anyone need a kind of a catch-up on all of that?
Nope. Anybody else?
All right. I move that the select board accept the quit claim deed for 50 Taylor Farm Road from Longwood Homes LLC as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? And that is unanimous. And somewhere there is a deed that'll get passed around for all of us to sign. Do we have to sign in front of the notary or no? Okay. All right. Only because we've all been sworn in and all that good stuff. Okay.
Plus we're on camera.
Oh, that's true, we're on camera. Why don't you send it around now, and then everyone will know we all signed it ourselves. There was a copy somewhere. Oh, didn't you? Or just send the signature page around if you want. Good point. Everyone will know we signed, we're not under duress.
While this is being passed around, I don't know if you want to consider dividing up who's going to do the recommendations on some of the articles, at least some of the ones that, like the Board of Assessors, the change of town meeting, stuff like that. Because we have such a compressed schedule, it might be helpful to at least know who's going to write a recommendation
Okay. Good
on
point.
those.
I forgot about that. All right, let's do it. I'm going to go based on the order of the draft warrant you have in your packet. So first one, MBTA Communities Overlay District and definitions. Does anyone want to take on that one?
I'd be happy to.
What's that?
I'd be happy to.
All right, thanks, Sam. Way to go, Sam.
Sam, I love
got-
the word
I got
happy.
a- I got
I
an
love the
eagle
word
eye.
happy.
I'd be
I got an eagle eye
happy
from
to.
Prius.
Happy to.
I like that. We like that. And any questions? I mean, Alec is absolutely, Alec is your person.
Friendly one.
Yeah.
All right, Article 2, utility and public service uses. Who wants that one?
I'll take that one.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay.
Sense of the meeting,
Article 6.
I'm sorry, dimensional schedule, does
That's
anyone
the
feel,
public safety.
all right, so, if we follow the same thought process, dimensional requirements in town center would allow public safety buildings to be built in that zone. It really depends on which way Article 2 goes. If it is allowed by right in all zoning, service area, and all different zoning categories, so to speak, town center would need to be changed so that it would be in compliance, because right now you can't have a building exceeding 8,000 square feet of gross floor area. I'm a little ambivalent on whether, I don't know, thoughts? What do y'all think? If we're gonna,
Christian, I have another question, not relating to this.
Oh, sure.
Are we gonna be changing the article numbers now?
I'm just, yes, we're gonna fix
We
it,
will.
but
We
for
will
now,
change.
for the
Okay, all
purpose
right.
of this
No, no, I
discussion,
just
it was
wanted to make
easier
sure.
for me to follow what
that's
we
fine.
have.
No, that's
Other than
fine. I
trying
wanted
to
to just
reorder
make
it,
sure.
yeah.
That's it.
All right, all right, I'll take this one and we can decide if we feel that we need to do anything. All right. Stonewall bylaw. I don't know that this one, this is also a planning board article. I really don't think this affects operations. I don't think we need this one. All right. Sense of the meeting, we don't recommend on sense of the meetings, because that will just be a discussion on town meeting floor.
Sense of the meeting.
Agreement to general bylaw, date of annual town meeting and annual town election. I don't mind taking that one, that's an easy one. Establishing an appointed board of assessors. Who wants this one?
Okay.
Wes? Awesome, thank you. All right. And that's it. Bob, did you
So
not
we
get one?
don't need
Bob, do
anything
you
for
want one?
Article 7, date of annual town meeting and annual.
Oh, I
town
said I
election?
would do it, but do you want it, Bob?
Sure,
Since,
I'll take that one.
all right, then we all have, all right. What?
He's doing
Bob's
change-
gonna
change
take,
the date of town meeting.
Change the
annual
meeting.
town meeting. That way we all have
One or two,
one.
one or two.
Yeah, exactly. All right, perfect. That shares out the work too, so thank you, everybody. Anything else you need for us on this one?
Nope.
All right. All right, did not say the other word. Be thirsty, I don't care. Next up, discussion and action, temporary housing for firefighters. So I brought this forward and asked to have this put on our agenda. And the reason being is that I just feel enough is enough. The fire department needs some support. They need to know that we care about the living conditions that they're in right now and that we are doing our best to move a project forward. We did have a couple of people give their notice right after May town meeting. We've had other firefighters give their notice, and part of their exit interview was the facilities. You know, my understanding, and you know, I can be corrected, is we pay appropriately. We're exciting enough. But right now, the fire station is an untenable situation. As the select board knows, I don't know if the public knows, but we did have a situation with a fire escape in the back of the building needing an emergency replacement, and that cost $10,000. And thank you to Ed Kukla and to Mike for moving that along as quickly as possible so that we could be in compliance, that we can continue to use that building. But the fact remains, we're going to spend $10,000 on a building that we're not going to be using soon, that we're probably tearing down. So I just thought we need to do something. You know, we need to show the fire department some support. Now, I have not asked the fire department what they want, which is why they're all here tonight. Because I really, you know, I think it's important for us to hear from you if this is something that would at least alleviate some of the concerns that we have about the current building, or does it cause more problems? You know, that this is truly a discussion. But give us 1 second. Does anybody else kind of want to?
So, yeah, my only point is, and the firefighters can talk to it as well. My only concern is I like the idea of giving them livable quarters so that they don't have water on the floor and they don't have mice running through the kitchen.
Or under their beds.
Or under their beds.
No, thank you.
And things along that line. And I think the town owes it to them to have a livable situation. My only concern, and it's my only concern, is that I don't want this to be an escape for the people to push this out, saying, well, they've got a nice facility now, granted it's a temporary trailer. And I don't want someone using that as an excuse not to vote on the building of a new fire station. That's it.
Let's just go right down the line. Wes, what are your thoughts? Again, we haven't heard from the guys yet, but
I mean, I think we should hear from them, like, because if we're just gonna have a discussion about stuff that they say, no, we're good. I mean, I'm all for temporary, like, housing if it's necessary and they are wanting it, but, I mean, I think it should be at either the request or for them.
okay. Priya, thoughts?
No, I think, I agree that like we should definitely look into this, and like if that is something that you guys are wanting, we want to make sure that we are providing it for you guys. But at the same time, it shouldn't be something that we are forcing it out on you on all of you. But we want to we realize how bad the situation is, and we want to like this is a stopgap measure in our mind.
Sam, thoughts?
Yeah, I want to hear from you guys, but if you need temporary housing, I want to help.
Yeah. What I would love, Chief, or anybody who wants to speak, I'd like you to give the public, because a ridiculous number, an amazing number of people watch us on television or watch us later. I'd love if you gave us kind of a little list of your maintenance. Like what happens when there's a driving rain? What happens to your computer when it rains out?
Just make sure they go to the microphone.
You know, just like give us and the public some more input about what's going on in the station. And then we do want to know if it would be helpful or not helpful to provide alternate space.
Assuming this is on. Good evening. First off,
Feel free to take that right out.
Okay, just kind of tilted a little bit. That
There you
might
go.
work a little bit better. First off, I just want to thank you for letting us know that this was going to be discussed tonight and giving us an opportunity to address some of the questions and concerns that you all have. To get it out of the way, what do I love about Boxborough? Is that
Yes,
what's coming
please.
up, right?
How do you
So
spell
I
it?
actually love the fact that the community cares enough to bring this up and bring it forward and have this discussion, especially when we're still trying to get a new fire station.
And how do you
So-
spell it?
Right there on the patch. We put the UGG in box. No, I'm kidding.
Whoa!
Well,
So-
the fire station does put the UGG in
Yes.
Foxborough right now, yeah.
So there are a number of concerns. You can hear it right now. We know that when we get back, there's going to be water all over the apparatus room floor. We also know that the frogs are going to be moving into the drain. We have a nice, lovely family of frogs that have taken up residency. We haven't charged them rent yet, but it's still on the table.
Tell them to keep it down at night.
The stairs were obviously a problem, but very thankful that was able to be fixed this past week.
If
There's
that
just a
doesn't
whole
show love, I mean, those guys jumped to get
They
that
did,
done.
and they
get a
worked very hard, and they
contract.
got it done quickly.
Yeah, that's love.
How could I ever say no to better their living conditions for my firefighters? Absolutely impossible, right? I would never in a million years would I say no. Of course not. We don't want that. We don't want to have better conditions for them. My concern is I share my concerns with Mr. Stumple. Like, is this a Band-Aid, and how long will people think that the Band-Aid could last? And my other concern is the fact that is it even possible? If we're going to do something like this, there's a lot of planning that would have to go into this. There would have to be a lot of discussions with building officials, maybe even the planning board, zoning board, depending on where different wetland buffers and things like that happen. So we can talk about this all day, but we just don't even know if it's feasible. What code requirements are we going to have to meet? How big of a structure are we talking about? Are we going to attach the structure to the current structure, or is this going to be separate? How is it going to impact our operations, our turning radiuses? How will the trucks get in and out? I'll tell you right now, we were impacted just by those stairs, just having that one side of the driveway closed off while they were doing construction and still coned off. Still impacts the way we come in and out of the station. It makes it a lot more difficult to make certain swings in and back into the station. So it's great in theory. I think it's a phenomenal idea. It's just there's just so many questions about how will our IT, can we transfer it over into a temporary building? How will it translate in? Would it be functional? What type of septic requirements would we have? Would we be able to do something where there's tanks?
Who has them right now? Is it Bolton? Who's got temporary? Somebody has them right now?
I'm sure there are a lot of fire station building projects going on right now that I'm sure there's countless.
Linfield's got them,
Linfield does, I believe Cambridge has some right now.
yeah.
Well, I think Cambridge is trying to sell theirs, right?
They will try to once they're done building.
Okay.
I could put out a survey through FCAM and see if we could find out how many people have temporary structure right now.
No, don't waste your time on
Okay.
that. I'm just thinking who's already got the information that they could probably share with you pretty quickly, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel regarding a lot of the things you just, unless it's site-specific.
I mean, we could even go as far, we could ask our OPM, who is, their company's involved with a lot of fire station projects across the Commonwealth right now. We could ask them if they know, if they have a list of some that are going on, so we could.
Do you think the fire
we could
station
go.
building committee would be okay if we did that?
Mike
So
is-
I can answer that. Certainly our OPM has the experience and knowledge to address it. I would want to make sure that it's not coming out of that fund, though.
Oh,
That would-
okay,
It would have to
fine.
be separately funded so that we don't hold up the construction of a new building.
Okay, that's fine.
I would say, hearing what the chief's saying about what goes into it, my concern isn't what Bob was saying, which is give people an excuse, but it is that it will slow down other work. I think we should not ask the fire station building committee to work on this. They've got their hands full.
Oh, no, I
Someone
was
else
asking if,
needs
I
to
was
lead this
thinking
up.
money. I was thinking money
Yeah.
if we could, but Mike's right, we would use alternate sources.
If this
Honestly,
is a separate,
like-
if this is a separate
Right.
project that's gonna be
Just-
time consuming and it sounds like it's worth doing.
Just to be clear,
Let's do
when
it.
I said ask the OPM, I just meant like in passing, leaving our meeting on Thursday. Oh, by the way, Steve, just out of curiosity, do you, could you ramble off some places that have temporary? I wasn't
Okay.
talking about any sort of formal spend money type activity. I just, in casual conversation with him, I was suggesting maybe that I would ask him if he could help me with a number of them, that's all. was
I
saying.
would head down that path, though, that if we did need professional support, if the answer was, yeah, let's pursue it, we'll find the money
Okay.
outside of the warrant article, because actually we can't use that warrant article for it.
Right.
So we'd have to find it.
Yeah. And-
All right.
And I would agree, the money shouldn't be the obstacle.
No.
But it can't, if we're going to do both, we can't hamper the building of a new station.
Right.
We need to find other funding quickly to do this.
Yep.
And again,
So you guys all took the time to come in tonight, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm putting you on the spot. You have a very friendly board here that wants to hear from you.
Plus you brought a piece of paper, so you read what's on the paper.
Yeah.
So
Hello, everyone. My name is Derek DeRuvo. If I haven't met most of you, Sam, I don't think I've met you.
Good to
so
see you.
Nice to meet you. The chief hit on most of my points, to be completely honest. He told me the other day that this was going to be brought up. And Bob, like you said too, that was my biggest concern is this is something I think we really do need. We all know the state of this fire department, fire station, but I don't want it to hinder the efforts of moving forward with the project. That was my biggest fear, to say, they have something now, they can get by for a period of time. Let's, step back, reevaluate sites or whatever we need to look at. But it's early, and I think we just really need to look into what this new project would entail. I think it's going to be very involved with utilities and, like you said, zoning and permits and all these things to figure out if we can even put them in the front of the building. Yeah.
Step
that's-
by step.
Yeah, I think we just have to kind of see who has it, what kind of type of process they went through to get that ball moving.
We can also stagger the timing of the request to the town too. Of course, it wasn't going to happen in October. I was thinking that we would bring something in December or January, depending when we actually have our second town meeting of the year, of the fiscal year. Part of my thought process is even if everything goes exactly according to plan, right? And the zoning passes, and then we get design money in January, and then we go to the town to build it in May, you're still 2 years from putting your head in a pillow. And so that's another reason that I'm like, enough is enough. When I'm hearing about stairs falling off and frogs and, you guys are gonna be building an ark shortly. The water level is rising. It is August, it is a dry year, and the water is above ground level. In your station.
Yeah.
So, and we certainly don't want to condemn by the state. So just, that's part of my thought process is you are at least 2 years before you put your head in a new station, on a pillow in a new station. So how can we support you?
Yeah.
And I know it's going to be expensive, but I think it's money well spent. You protect us.
Yeah.
We depend on you, so you should be able to depend on us.
Yeah, like the chief said, I I would never turn it down. There are just a lot of questions that I think we would have to look into before moving forward, but yeah.
So
Does
who would
anyone
do that
have
research?
questions for me? Does anyone have anything they
No,
want
so
to bounce off?
if this is gonna delay the whole building piece, you guys want us to explore, right? If that is not an obstacle in terms of exploring the construction of the new building, you would want us to explore.
As long as this, yeah, correct,
Yeah.
if this temporary housing is not gonna hinder the efforts of the building committee and what they're doing moving forward, then absolutely, I think that we should explore this option. But if for any reason this might delay things or push the timeline on, it gets questionable. And not just for the committees working on this, but the way that we communicate this to the public, to say like, hey, this is something we're trying to do to just get by and not, put a Band-Aid on something so that we can extend the timeline.
You know what happened to Gene Hackman's wife, right? Just saying.
What? What'd you say?
Gene Hackman's
Oh.
wife died of a virus carried by mouse feces, so I just don't want you sleeping with mouse feces. That's
Yeah.
really kind of where I'm at. I
Yeah.
really would like you guys to
That
be
is
here.
appreciated.
The chief will be wandering aimlessly around. That's not a good joke. I'm sorry, God. But, yeah. I know, I just have to stop now.
Am I mistaken, did you just ask who would research it and look into? I can start the research. I will put something out to find out across the Commonwealth who is in temporary housing right now, and we can have some conversations with the building inspector as far as what conditions that he may see for a project like this. It can also check with the Department of Fire Services as well and ask their fire protection engineers different concerns that they may have with temporary structure. I mean, generally, I don't see it requiring, say, like a sprinkler system, because it would be under the 7,500 square feet, but if we were to add it to the station, are we gonna be bumped into that? And it's things that would come up that I necessarily wouldn't wanna make the decisions on, where it impacts us. So we would probably rely heavily on DFS to help us make those decisions, to make sure that there's no image of us cutting corners or taking it easy on ourselves. So I can start asking those questions of them as far as different requirements that they've placed on temporary housing in other towns, and just I can at some point bring that back to. I can bring it back to Mike, or I can
They'll
pass
bring
it
it
on
back
so
to
they
us.
can come back to you.
Yeah.
Try to put a report together for
You
you.
know, and the sooner the better, so we
Okay.
can all plan. I don't know, I'll be honest, I have no idea what it costs. I have no idea how big they are. I don't know where they're going. This is more just a guttural reaction on my part to what's going on in that building right now.
I mean, there's
Enough is enough.
I know we've talked about it in the past. There's some differences here, because we're talking about maintaining the current apparatus base. We're not talking about office space. I just would stay in, our admin function of the department would remain where it is. We're just talking about living quarters for our crews that are in and
And a
out.
kitchen, a place that you can
Well, that's right,
cook your
because
food.
that gets into that question. Is it just the size of it? Is it just to put beds in so you can sleep in? Or is there gonna be a kitchen in there? Is there gonna be a living room in that
Well,
temporary
we
structure?
have female employees. Are we looking to
Exactly.
fix the fact that we don't have female facilities, that we, so there's, I guess I guess it comes down to like how much of a scope of a project are we looking to undertake?
And that's where we're asking, I think that's what we're asking you, is how big should the scope be? It starts with you. What do you want? What do you need? What makes the most sense in the space that you have? So that's why we're starting here.
Right, because because as you just said, other than 8 to 5 operations, I think everything else would have to go in that temporary station.
Okay.
Because the kitchen with food.
Right.
The bedrooms with male and female, the bathrooms with male and females. And so in communications, you're gonna have to wire it for the alarm system that when the tones go off. So right there, it's big. This is
And not just that, and then we'd also have to be wired into a fire alarm system if there were a problem out in it as well, that we were alerted. So it would have to have its own fire alarm system inside of it, but also have to be
Right.
wired to alert us of other people's fire alarms going off.
Unless you
And-
want to be like West Concord, and that's a whole nother.
Well, if you are willing to take this on, we'd like to start with you, and start pulling it together. and bring us back information as you have it.
Okay.
You know, we'll always make room for you on the agenda. And, yeah, I actually see this as a wake-up call to the town.
And I agree with that, because I think, you know, when you do your research and you come back, and I don't have a clue in the number, is it $10,000 or is it $50,000?
Is it $1 million? I don't know.
Yeah, people are gonna go, wait a minute, it's gonna cost $100,000 to put up a temporary structure? That's a wake-up call.
I think also I think you have been phenomenally polite about your situation, and I think it's really time to wake people up. Enough is enough. It's been 12 years. We've been talking about this for 12 years. Wake up. Let's go. Let's make a decision and move forward.
I'll start first thing tomorrow with the building inspector. I think
Excellent.
that's the
And you can
most
check with
logical
Alec for
place to
zoning.
start, because if he were to come back and say that we don't have the space to do what we're talking about, or it can be way more challenging than what we are saying, then,
Then it's a moot point, but at
Exactly.
least we would have tried.
right, so I'll start with
Yeah.
that conversation tomorrow.
The other thing is, my guess is it's gonna be a tight tank. I could be wrong, or maybe there'll be a gray water, and we'll figure that out. When you asked about septic, 'cause no question, that's gonna be an issue.
Yeah, I think you'd have to have a tight
I think
tank.
it's gonna be a
I have a
tight
couple of questions, and
Go for it.
the chief and I have talked about this, and I asked him if he could bring somebody from the department, so I'm glad he brought a team. I know that's the way they operate, which is awesome. My questions are, and they've already addressed, is how does this impact operations? And the main thing is, you know, wherever you put it, does it impede the turning radius of the apparatus that need to get out of both sides of the station? So that's something that needs to be looked at. The connectivity, and you touched on the tones, the alarms, the communications. As far as the funding, I think we're talking about, we're not talking about tens of thousands of dollars. I think we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. But I don't think that should stop us from moving forward and taking a look at it. Does it work? You know, can we do it? And then I think we are talking about, in addition to living quarters, at least bathrooms and showers. You know, I had never thought about, you know, the kitchen, eating facilities, but at least living and bathing. One question I have for these guys is, if you're living in one place, where is your turnout gear? Is it with you where you're sleeping? Or is it over,
Still in
you
the
get
bag?
it back to the station and then put it on? And
Yeah, so even right now, because of the carcinogens that the turnout gear carries, and also just in the way it's made, they're loaded with carcinogens anyways, even coming out of the box brand new. It's standard practice that the turnout gear stays in the apparatus room or stays in the turnout gear room and goes nowhere near the living facilities. So this would be something where if they were in facilities, they would travel back to the truck and the gear would be at the truck waiting for them.
okay, good, all right,
But we're talking about 75 feet, we're not talking miles.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Is there a minimum distance that a temporary facility could be from the station itself?
That is a great question. And I got to imagine there's recommendations, just.
Could it be next door? Could it be across the street?
Well,
I don't think you could have it separate. I think we'd have to have it
so
connected in some way.
Physically
NFPA
connected.
requires, so for turnout time, NFPA requires that from time of tone to truck on the air, signing on to go, and that includes getting all your stuff on, it's a 2-minute turnout time. We have to be dressed in the truck, signed on, 2 minutes or less. So whatever
If there's
distance
a
we
foot of
pick.
snow on the ground, you're not running across the parking lot.
Right, exactly,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
and risking
yeah.
injury.
Yep.
All right.
So
Birds at 2 a.m.
I think if Chief's open to it, I can help with, you know, getting this rolling tomorrow. And then he and I both have a meeting with the OPM and architect on Wednesday, and we can, you know, see how far we get between now and then.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'll take any help. That's fine with me. Thank you.
Do you guys want to say anything?
Sean?
No? You're here? No? Okay. We're not a scary group. We're very nice.
We just had to drive the ambulance here, so we had to bring everyone.
Oh, they're like, why? Why am I here? All right. Okay. I'm sorry.
One more, chief?
No,
What did I do?
I think we're good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank you,
very
guys.
much.
We have one firefighter, EMT, on Zoom. I don't know if he'd like to speak. Stephen has followed this project for the last several years, almost every Zoom meeting. So he may have some knowledge, or he may just want to, listen.
Observe.
Yeah, does anybody else have anything to say?
Turn his camera off.
Unmute.
Oh, there's Steve.
No,
All right, Steve's coming in.
Derek and the chief hit on everything, so thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, thank you for always attending and staying on top of everything. We appreciate it. Okay, well, thank you very much for coming in
Thank you
tonight.
all.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, sounds good. Next on the agenda, Town Administrator Contract. Wes, do you want to lead us in this one?
Sure. Are you looking to make the motion and then discuss it, or?
However you want to manage it, you're the leader.
So I guess I can give a brief outline of it. The select board has been in discussion along with the town administrator in negotiating a new 3-year contract. It will be published once ratified, but I guess some key tenets of it are that when we had done the last contract, we as the town had effectively asked Mike to make a bet on himself because we believed that he was the best person and we want to compensate accordingly, but we had some issues in the past where such a high base salary may effectively, we wanted to say like pay for performance, and so Mike kindly agreed to that in a somewhat unique structure where his what is it called, like a performance-based compensation would be added to his base salary based on his review. And so for context, he has gotten the last 2 review cycles was exceptional, and it is probably the best review that I have seen of town administrators while I have been here. And so one of the things that effectively we're doing is we're moving that compensation tied to the performance-based portion of it into his base, while additionally raising the minimum requirement for receiving a raise. It's technically it's a raise and cost of living adjustment combined into one, and so when you look at it in that fashion, it is very modest. The first year is a 5.75% increase. And then the following year is 4.16%, and then 4.15% increase. And I would like to make sure that we retain Mike, as I know that there are other thirsty and hungry communities in the area. And so I do believe that it's not compensating him at the top, which I wish we could. I wish we could pay the top for all the communities, but that's realistically not fiscally responsible, and I really appreciate that Mike, and I think the board appreciates that Mike is also reasonable and not trying to take advantage of the town or extort us in that sense. And so that is mainly the differences in the contract. Everything else is pretty much the same. Is there any questions, I guess, from anybody?
No, my only comment is, thank you, Wes, for doing that. That pretty much summarizes what we discussed in executive session, and I think it's extremely reasonable for what we have suggested and Mike has agreed to as far as the raises and this form of compensation. Mike has done a really great job. I've been on the select board just for over 1.5 years now, and he's stepped up, and he always has the can-do and will help attitude. So I thoroughly endorse the numbers and the discussion we've had approving this contract.
So this number for raise is also underneath what was budgeted for this fiscal year as well. So
Good.
All right, any other questions for Wes?
No, I'm just happy that Mike is signing on for another 3 years. That was
We
great.
are thrilled.
Well,
To be.
just so we know, we're not paying for any more raises. So the bid is gone, and that's
Well, we're okay with the raises, but not the raisers. Is that what you're saying?
You're not rolling, you're having a tough time.
I'm having a tough time. Okay, all right.
So one small point I would make is the contract is structured around the fiscal years, and so I know that we had started the or the negotiations before the fiscal year. However, just the dearth of meetings over July, like in
Yeah,
July.
it just took us a while to get here.
And so I didn't know if the board would also want to retroactively pay him in addition to this.
Oh, yeah, I thought
Okay.
it already
No,
was.
that's totally fine, but it's not in the contract, but that can just be part of the motion, so I move
Yeah.
to ratify the town administrator's contract and make payments to the town administrator to make it retroactive via the start of the fiscal year.
I'll second that.
Yeah, actually, it occurs to me, Wes, we need to fix the date
Okay,
in there too. Yeah, absolutely. I had always assumed that we would get Mike back on the fiscal year and that there would be a retroactive payback to July 1st. We did intend to have this done in May and honestly just got busy. So we've been kicking the can, but not for 12 years.
yeah, it did say May 19th, so that's when we initially planned.
Yeah, we did plan
Does that
on doing
affect
this
the
in May.
review timing? Because the review
Yeah,
timing
so
is keyed on
the
start
new,
date,
the
right?
new one is the fiscal year, so within 30 days of the fiscal year. So that's July 1st.
Next July 1st.
Right.
So, yeah.
But in the provision of the contract, that's not in the compensation, but the next section where
Yeah.
it talks about requiring the review, it says,
Fiscal year 30.
no, it says date of,
Oh, is it,
beginning
does
of
it
the
say?
contract, I think. I was just looking at it in there, I believe that's what it says.
Well, I'm sorry, where are you, Sam? Because I'm looking at
It's the
compensation
date
where,
As opposed to the fiscal year.
The performance, 30 days of the,
Within 30 days of his employment.
employment anniversary.
okay.
So we could
We
change
can strike
that.
that one.
Good, thank you.
Yeah,
See, good to have a lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then,
I don't care, we can do it whenever we want.
well, we can just say,
well, no, but
'cause
you're.
no, we have- so the one, so it does
Yeah,
say
so it
above
doesn't
30
make
days of the end of the
July 1st.
performance year
Yeah.
to be measured, and so we can just, if people are okay, so
Yeah.
I'll move to ratify the contract as amended and make retroactive payments to the beginning of the fiscal year.
Yeah,
Yes, I'll second that.
all right. Any further discussion? Any comments from the public? All right, I move.
No, so that's
You
a motion and
moved and-
second.
Oh, you already did. I'm sorry, we have to vote. Does this have to be roll
It's
call or
just
just raise
all
your
in
hands?
favor.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Abstain? Unanimous?
Done.
You're stuck with us for 3 more years. Yay!
I would just like to say thank you. It's been a pleasure
Yeah.
working here the last 3 years. It really has. And it's been a pleasure working with this board and with the community and with the team that we've built here that serves the community. And I really have been looking forward to a next contract, so I look forward to the next 3 years. And I think the next thing we need to do, probably starting at the next meeting or the meeting after that, is start reevaluating the board and town administrator goals so that we set up what strategic objectives we want to achieve in the next year and beyond. So I really look forward to those discussions. So,
Great.
thank you.
No, thank you. Okay, everybody, we're on to minutes. Did everyone have a chance to look at the meeting minutes of August 11th? I'm going to abstain from this one because I wasn't here.
I looked at them, they're fine.
So everyone had a chance to look at them?
Yep.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to accept the minutes of
August 11th,
August 11th,
2020.
Second.
2025.
Up. What?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? 1, me, I abstain. All right, we need to pop back to reports and announcements. I always skip that one. So we'll start at this end of the table. Michael, what have you got for us?
I've got 2 announcements. The first is that on Sunday, September 7th, there will be a bike ride coming through Boxborough, and that's from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., Sunday, September 7th. This is another one that has come through Boxborough before. It's called Bikes Not Bombs, cycling organization. They'll be passing through Boxborough. There are no expected road closures, as this is a rule of the road, non-time cycling event. However, please use caution. The riders will be on the following roads: Old Harvard Road, Burroughs Road, Chester Road, and Stowe Road, which I believe is the same route they were on last year. Again, that's Sunday, September 7th, from 9 to 2 p.m. And the second announcement is that, backed by popular demand, is the Boxborough Civic Academy. And Rajan will be running this again. He brought this, he and I have both participated in this sort of academy in our previous communities, and he decided to start it for first ever here in Boxborough. And so I'm very happy that he's bringing this back again. He has renamed it this time from the Citizen Academy to Civic Academy because he thought it was more inclusive. We've talked a lot about people don't have to be citizens to live here, to participate in the activities that we have or in local government. So I love that he's renamed it Civic Academy and made it open to anyone who would like to learn more about municipal government and how it works here in Boxborough. And so this, anyone can reach out to the administrative team, to the select board, or to Rajan directly. And this will be going from, it'll be on Thursday evenings for the most part, with a couple of Mondays scattered in there. It'll be starting September 4th. It'll be going through November 10th. And there's a full lineup, and I would suggest that people go on the town website to see what all the different topics will be, as well as they can pick up paper copies of the program and sign up and everything that it's about at the town clerk's office or again on the town website. So again, glad we're doing
cool.
Civic Academy again.
Yeah, it's right on the website, it's nice. I have a question, like, have we sent this to like the social studies department at AB just to see if any students would want to participate? Like people thinking about getting into government? With everything going on in the world, there might be a lot of kids looking at poli-sci or just a thought.
I don't know. I will check with Rajan and see if he reached out to him.
Yeah.
I know he's trying to get things out through as many different communication mediums as possible.
Yeah.
I'll find out if he's reached out to the schools.
Well, it might be
That's a good
something
idea.
kids want to do with their parents even. You know,
Yeah.
learn more about how does a town government run. I want to be involved someday.
Right.
So,
right,
all right, just an
absolutely.
idea. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Okay. So just moving right down. So I have been attending the planning board meetings and hearings, trying to keep up to date. Again, you know, I did choose to do that on the 11th instead of being here, only because I was Zooming it anyway, and somebody from the select board had to be over there, so I thought, well, I'd rather Zoom there and just listen than have to try to participate on Zoom, because I'm not good at it. Anyway, really, really interesting to see the number of people that are turning out. It was not all the same people, like I pretty much expected all the same people to be at every hearing. It wasn't. A lot of different opinions, a lot of different thoughts. What I like about the hearings is I think it's getting people used to participating. So I'm hoping that we'll have really great town meeting participation because people basically have had that practice. But anyway, so yeah, I highly encourage you all, you know, each of the hearings on, you know, on the articles coming forward, probably an hour or so, but each time, maybe a little longer, but I think worth tuning into. I also attended the last housing board meeting. There is going to be a unit available in Summerfields, our over 55 40B, working on assisting that family with their transition. You know, still kind of wondering what's going to happen with 72 Store Road and how that'll impact their plans. They are definitely going to be looking for funding to do other things, you know, that they think is necessary for the town in terms of housing. So they're very much looking forward to seeing what direction the town meeting goes in. But otherwise, yeah, really good group of people trying to make an impact. So that's all I did.
A lot of, I have three informational items. One, people will be happy to know that who live on Codman Hill, that tomorrow, and people will also be upset with the construction, there is going to be a whole bunch of construction going on tomorrow at the intersection of Codman Hill Road, Swanson Road, and Mass Ave. They've actually agreed with the state and Littleton Electric and Littleton Water that they're going to run that line tomorrow. So there's going to be a major road interruption having Mass Ave dug up at the intersection of Codman Hill and Swanson Road. They're going to make the connection. The pipe is all laid. The pipe is laid. It ends at Swanson Road. They're going to lay the pipe that goes across Mass Ave underneath the ground, obviously, and they're going to connect it to the pipe that's already there in Codman Hill. So hopefully by tomorrow's Tuesday, hopefully by the end of Wednesday, that line will be all in, and they're going to start testing that line for water for the people who live down on Codman Hill. Yay! A lot of upset people on crossing the bridge tomorrow. Sorry, folks. Two, the guardrail is up, if you haven't seen it, the guardrail went up on the corner of Flag Hill Road in summer. I want to thank Ed Kukla for coordinating that, and for Mike for getting that in as well. That's a real big safety plus for the town, for the travelers, especially in the wintertime, trying to make that corner. So I appreciate Ed's help with that, and Mike's getting everything in place as far as payment and coordination. And the third one, this is more of me being a resident of Boxborough to all my fellow residents. Thursday, Kelly's Corner in Acton, as everybody knows all the construction is. That project has not gone as well as planned, and it's going to get worse. I was told today by the Acton PD that they are going to pave Kelly's Corner with the huge paving trucks Thursday of this week.
And it's the first day of school
And
on
it's
Wednesday?
the first day of school.
On Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
So on Wednesday, some of the kids are starting, and some of the kids are starting on Thursday.
Yep.
So, yes.
Elementary
Alright.
will be starting on Wednesday.
Right, high school
Oh, my
will be starting on
goodness.
Thursday, that's right. So, all the school buses probably will not make the corners at Kelly's Corner. And all of the parents who are driving their children to that area for the first time, going to the junior high or to the high school, will be trying to understand what the cops are telling them to do. And the paving people will be there, putting down hard pavement that they will not allow anybody to go through. So this was supposed to happen 2 weeks ago, and for some snafu, the paving company couldn't get there 2 weeks ago, and they're gonna be there Thursday and Friday of this week. So,
I wish Adam were here, because hopefully the school is gonna
Well,
send
they
them
know.
an email saying,
they
use
know.
Charter Road, come off of Route 2, do what you got, meeting. Oh, Liz, yeah. Thanks. Hi, Liz. Do you have any idea if the schools have sent anything out to parents?
They did.
They did. Okay, Wes would know. That's true.
They
Yeah.
sent it out in the.
Let's just hope people opened it.
yeah. But,
No, they sent
Well-
text message and email.
So I drive the child to the Boardwalk School, and nobody told me about this. So I'm just like,
Well,
great.
that's because you're not the parent
Thank
or legal.
I know, but the parent should tell the grandmother where she's going.
but so my information is for all residents
Thank you.
who travel down to Kelly's Corner, whether going to work, going to the hospital, going down there for fun. My strong suggestion is you avoid anything to do with Kelly Corners.
Which is 2A and 27.
Exactly. And Mass Ave.
I'm sorry, 111. 111 and 27, not
111.
2A and 27. No, 111 and 27.
On Thursday and Friday of this week, because you will not get through it, I can guarantee.
So effectively go up by Idlewild and then take Route 2.
Something
Yeah.
that, exactly.
Yeah, you'll have to figure it
Exactly.
out.
Or
Yeah.
go down.
To be fair though, the notification just went out to parents like this afternoon, right before Wes came to this meeting.
Okay, so
Right.
I should not give my daughter any garbage until I give her a
Totally,
chance.
So,
Yeah, and we did try to work with the contractor, and the contractor said that the dates cannot be changed. Because we were like, dude, it's the first week of school, and you guys are gonna do this on Thursday and Friday, starting at 9 a.m.?
Yep.
And, yep, that's a
Well,
thing.
at
But
least
you-
drop-off will happen. You should be able to get everyone to school, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Hopefully, they're recommending that anyone that can, send their kids on the bus.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So I just-
Good times.
So I thought I'd let everybody know, yeah, the Acton Police are not happy about it, so please do not take it out on the Acton Police. That's all I got.
Poor Roach Brothers, they're gonna have a tough week.
Yeah, they're not gonna, no one's gonna go there.
And Stop and Shop too, actually. Well, they could come in,
No,
well, I
you-
don't
wait,
know.
You can get there,
They can get that from now.
yeah.
All right, any other updates?
Wes?
Yeah,
I was
did
going to say
Bob's
the
West,
school,
yep.
but
Yeah,
Oh, Bob took your
sorry.
thunder.
sorry.
Priya?
All right, the Fire Station Building Committee, we met on the 14th. Few things came up. One of the things was about there was a letter to the building commissioner, right? About zoning variance, whether it could be granted for any buildings that is over 15,000 square feet in town center, and it was denied, right? Like it said he couldn't offer, right?
Right, what, his
Based on
opinion was
the
that a variance couldn't be granted.
On over 8,000 square feet, because right now it's 8,000 square feet, right?
Uh,
Sure.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
yes, sure, yeah.
I wonder why you can't, okay. I guess dimensional, that's interesting. Okay. I'm not gonna argue.
Less than, oh, it needs a special permit from the Board of Appeals under a certain bylaw, so again, not sure how those zoning bylaws work, but long story short, it cannot be granted for a town center. Then we also looked at, we also talked about the listening sessions update, some of the things that came up from the listening sessions that a few members of the fire station building committee were having.
Tell me what a listening session is.
Well,
Like, who's listening to who?
I am not part of the listening session, so I don't know what exactly happens there. So
Okay.
that was one of the things that we were all asking for, more transparency from that listening session, because there is not, I mean, there has been emails going back and forth, but like there isn't anything concrete in terms of like what needs to happen has not come forward.
I guess what
But-
I don't know is, are the people in the audience listening, or the fire station
The
building?
fire station building committee members listening to
Okay.
a bunch of community members that are
Okay.
part of that group.
Awesome, okay.
So it involves Mac Reed is spearheading that, and then Sarah and Larry Grossman are the other two members that are part of that listening group, right? But I don't think they are invited for every one of the groups, right?
Yeah, so Mac thought that there were some strong opinions on with different perspectives that have been voicing right along, and he wanted a way for them to channel their
Yeah.
voice. So Mac and Mary have been meeting with, I think, about maybe 9 or 10 residents of varying opinions and perspectives and listening. And then from that, I think they had 2 or 3 meetings, and then from that, there was a suggestion to have a smaller, more technically oriented group, and that's what Priya is talking about, where 2 members of the fire station committee are meeting with 3 other members, and I think that's what you were
Yeah,
starting to
yeah.
talk about.
Okay, now I'm with you. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, I think some of the things that came up from the listening session was that like we have a budget first and then work backwards from the budget, like whether this is the amount that the town can
Afford.
take up, and then we have to work within that budget, and I don't know how that's going to be appropriate given like everything else. And then, and ways to reduce the project cost. Like, so whether it being shrinking the size of the building. So those are the 2 things that I think has been highly focused, apart from, I'm assuming, sites as well. So we went through and looked at, reassigned some of the sites. There were a few new sites that came into the picture. So we assigned them into viable sites, likely not viable, and not viable sites. So we have about 5 sites that are viable sites, that they are 1300 Mass Ave, 750 and 832 Mass Ave.
But that would be
They've-
combined into one site.
One,
Yeah.
so that'll be one.
Yep.
And then 502 and 72, those are the 4 viable sites in essence. And then we have the likely not viable is 1414, 886, and the 296 Middle Road are under the likely not viable. And then not viable at all are the 40 Cunningham Road, 1223 Mass Ave, 975 Mass Ave, 593 Mass Ave, and 577 Mass Ave. So that's what we came up with.
Okay.
Okay. So these, and then we had a robust discussion about the sense of the meetings that we had. Like, the concern was, like, we have to be transparent, and like if we are saying about a particular site, we just don't want to like not mention it. We want to mention about a site if that's what we are meaning. If we are saying that a particular site is going to be, at that time the updated warrants have not come through, right? So we didn't talk about if it is a site that is going to be costing less. We felt like everybody knew that it was 72 Stowe Road. initially there were 3 cents of the articles, right? Apart from the environment one. There were
Correct.
4 total.
Right.
So I think we discussed about that, and I think that's what kind of like brought about the condensing of the 3 into 1. But even with this one, I think we'll have to discuss in the fire station building committee and vote on it.
Right.
My concern would be, again, like in terms of like giving them a range of numbers, right, in terms of the cost. So just, I worry about that because people kind of tend to, with the tariffs and everything, we don't know whether it's going to be 4 or 6 million. That's what we are saying right now, but like we don't know how much exactly it's going to be.
So I have to say, I was concerned about the wording, understanding the relationship between location and cost for building a new firehouse. Having attended planning board meetings, and hearings and listening, my concern is that when you say, are you willing to pay $4 to $6 million more if it's not built at 72 Stowe Road, that it's going to be seen by the people that are very unhappy about 72 Stowe Road that you're trying to leverage town meeting to your side. I would prefer that you find language that, because the question is, Boxborough, are you willing to pay more to put, depending on site costs? How much are you willing to pay depending on site costs? Let's just call it site costs, because pretty much everything that we have, we're going to have to purchase, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That 502 is the only piece of property that we actually own outright, that would not have an impact. So if you wanted to leave 72 in there, I would say 502 Mass Ave and 72 Stowe Road, because it's, again, we talked a little bit about this offline, is what's the question the fire station building committee is trying to get answered from the town, and I'm not sure this addresses that. It immediately creates confrontation.
Yeah.
You are trying to
that's
leverage.
we almost, to a point, we really didn't want any sense of the meeting on that day. We felt like it's going to confuse people more, it's going to create chaos in town meeting. We have not, we decided that we will take it up in the next meeting, this coming Thursday, and then come up with a plan. But if it's going to create more chaos, I don't know if we should even proceed with that.
Well, I think it's a valid question to say, does the town have the stomach to spend additional money on site costs, versus, that's acquisition? Because, site costs is more than just acquisition. Like, for instance, if we were to go a little further down Mass Ave, it's not only acquisition costs, but we've got to rebuild Mass Ave. There are other things going on than just land acquisition that could drive costs.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that we need to really think about that. And that's true for any sense of the meeting. To me, a sense of the meeting motion is to get conversation going on town meeting floor that we otherwise can't have within the confines of a warrant article. What do people really think about the cost of the station? What do they really think about the size? And, so that, and I'm not even, I don't have an answer for you. The one, and I'll attend Thursday night's meeting, and if I'm allowed to speak, I'll toss my thoughts out. But I am concerned that this becomes adversarial right out of the gate.
And the other 3 that we had were even more controversial. I don't remember the
So
the
relative?
list, in terms of what exactly it said. We just felt like it's just it will be disingenuous, if we kind of let it be the way it is and not tell people transparently, hey, this is going to be the cheaper option or not. So I think keeping it broad, I agree, Kristen, but just.
What if you took out the dollar amount to see if it is a sense of the meeting to expand the base cost to build a new firehouse that is located, that if not located on property already owned by the town? I think really that's the question. I don't think you put $4 to $6 million there, because we don't know. I don't know what site costs are. We know what acquisition costs are, and if you want to talk about acquisition, that's different. But and that would be valid too, is to say, what's your stomach for acquisition? What's your stomach for site? What's your stomach for? Do you know if the FinCom is actually going to bring any models to say every additional $1 million you spend is going to be $100 or something like that? Or we're not there yet?
I know FinCom voted for anything for a higher cost.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
Well,
I believe they are going to model anything that comes forward.
Okay, all right. Because all right, well, like I said, I'll plan to come Thursday, and if you want to hear what I have to say, great. But I do have grave concerns that you're going to head down a path you don't want to head down.
Yeah, that's our concern too. I think like we need to discuss more.
Right. All right, and then the next one, so then the next one is about green construction standards.
Yeah, I think that we should probably have it being a green community. I'm guessing there are already some things that we have to adhere to,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, within code.
Within code and and then obviously even the green communities, they keep stretching the codes, right? Like with the regular code and the stretch code and all that, right? So I don't know if we should like definitely discuss about that, like eventually if Boxborough needs to be continue with the green communities, right?
Well, and we voted to support sustainability, and we actually voted to say any future construction in town will be done with sustainability in mind. So I don't even know how, I don't think this is it. I think what the Fire Station Building Committee is trying to understand is if we have to cut costs, where are you comfortable with us cutting costs? And I'm going to also argue that sustainability is not the place to ask people to cut costs based on the message we've received from town. I think truthfully, cutting costs is going to be more about the size and scope of the project, the cost of the land, how size and scope. So again, please don't, I'm coming from contribution, I'm trying to not beat you guys up, but I'm not sure this is the direction to go in. I know you want to cut $2 million, but I don't think this is it.
Well, I think there's a fine line between what Mike and Priya are talking about as far as, it's got to be a sustainable building to get the funding from the agencies, because they're going to have their requirements. I think the question is, above that, how much do we want to spend to do it? Because the twin schools, originally that was going to be triple net zero, but then it ended up because of money, they cut back from that, and it's not triple net zero, it's something less. So I think that's the real question.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's the real question.
Some of the basics you have to adhere to,
Right.
but do you want to even look into the future and what the future stretch codes might warrant if we do need to get to that level, right? I don't think we have voted on that as a town. Do we want to adhere to that, knowing that we will be eventually voting on those?
Right. One of the biggest things that this article points at is geothermal wells, which we know is going to be $700,000 or more. That's not required by code, and we don't know what the payback period is. Do you recover your costs for doing the geothermal wells? That's one of the main things. But there'll be a more robust discussion on this Thursday night. Because the architect and the OPM will be prepared to talk about, what's required by code and what are additional things that you could, spend more money on to be more green. We also know that a fire station, at least for our experts are telling us, you're not ever going to get triple net zero on a fire station because every time you open up all those doors, all your heat escapes.
Yeah.
So we know that that's an impossibility, but we want it to be as sustainable as possible within what the town is willing to spend.
Okay. I guess, like I said, if you're going to have sense of the meeting votes, it's really important to figure out what kind of a discussion do you want to have at the town meeting floor when you've got maximum participation. That's all. And is this how you want to waste your half an hour? Waste was the wrong word. Spend your half an hour. Oh my God, I really should just crawl under the table right now.
I think we're far off of the announcements.
You just don't want to. Biggest concern is you don't want to create more confusion and chaos.
Yeah.
So the summary is there's a lively discussion on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Lively discussion on Thursday. All right. What else is going on, Priya? Do you have anything else?
That's it.
Sam, you have a ton of committees now.
I have an announcement. I have a report.
Woo!
Last week, the Water Resources Committee voted to approve the draft, I guess it's a water management plan for town. It is available on the Water Resources Committee website for comment and input. They will take all of the comment and input at the September meeting, and then have the engineers issue a final report, and Les will come to a select board meeting in October after town meeting to present the report.
Awesome.
The very, very short story is we have enough water.
Yes. Yeah, That is definitely one thing, is that Boxborough doesn't have a quantity issue, and then quality is gonna be up to each individual well owner.
Yeah, so I think there's a discussion to be had in the wake of this report about ensuring residents are testing and understanding the resources available to them for water quality.
Mhm. Awesome. All right, everybody, I think that's everything. And it's 10 of 9. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Thank you, everybody.
Doctor.
Not bad at all.